When emergency plans become public before officials are ready to explain them, even well-intentioned strategies can fuel political backlash and public confusion. In California, recent revelations about emergency approaches have forced Governor Gavin Newsom into rapid response mode and raised questions about preparedness, transparency, and political communication. Emergency preparation and politics. Emergency planning is a core responsibility of state government. From natural disasters to infrastructure risks and public safety events, states develop detailed strategies long before crises occur. But when elements of these plans are discussed publicly or leak ahead of official explanation, the results can include political criticism, confusion, and intense media scrutiny. In California, Governor Gavin Newsom and state officials have faced a series of emergencies in recent years, ranging from wildfires and storms to energy supply challenges and infrastructure stressors. Each situation places a spotlight on the strengths and weaknesses of the state's emergency planning and communications framework. Today, we unpack how emergency planning works, why leaks or early reporting can prompt damage control from political leadership, and what Californians need to understand about the balance between preparedness and public perception. Emergency planning in California, how it works. California's emergency planning involves multiple layers: local, county, state, and federal coordination. Entities like the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services, Cal OES, collaborate with city agencies, counties, and federal partners to develop frameworks for responding to all hazards events, from earthquakes to atmospheric rivers. One example of official emergency preparedness in action was Gov. Newsom's recent proclamation of a state of emergency for multiple counties ahead of severe winter storms that brought intense rainfall, flooding risks, and debris flow threats. This declaration allows state agencies to mobilize resources, coordinate with local governments, and streamline response efforts. Emergency plans typically include a wide range of protocols. Pre-deployment of resources such as fire engines, rescue teams, helicopters, and urban search and rescue units. Communication strategies for alerting the public through official channels. Coordination with federal agencies when additional aid or resources are needed. Logistics for evacuation, sheltering, and infrastructure protection. These plans are designed to be adaptive frameworks that allow officials to respond efficiently when disasters strike. But by necessity, they encompass sensitive operational details and evolving scenarios, not all of which are intended for immediate public release. When emergency discussions leak, it's important to understand the context. Governments and emergency agencies often explore contingency options for essential sectors like energy and utilities. Such explorations are part of internal planning and do not always represent finalized policies. When details are shared prematurely or without full context, they can be misinterpreted as official announcements. This is not unique to California. Emergency planners across the U.S. regularly develop scenarios for supply disruptions, infrastructure failures, and cascading effects. These plans are typically vetted, updated, and communicated on official timelines to ensure accuracy and avoid unnecessary public alarm. In California's case, such premature exposure of emergency discussions like those concerning fuel supply or infrastructure preparedness can prompt officials to enter rapid communications and damage control mode to clarify intent and manage public deaths. Response. Governor Newsom's emergency response record. Gov. Newsom has had to manage multiple high-profile emergency responses since taking office in 2019. His actions include declaring emergencies during the COVID-19 pandemic to mobilize resources and public health responses, leading wildfire responses, including major fire events in the Los Angeles region that required evacuation, federal coordination, debris removal, and multi-agency action, proclaiming states of emergency ahead of severe storms to pre-position state resources and personnel. Each of these situations demonstrates how emergency planning is executed under pressure and why communication strategy matters just as much as the operational plan. What often becomes politically charged is not the existence of a plan itself, but how and when information about that plan becomes public. Why early disclosures spark backlash. Emergency planning leaks, or perceived leaks, can lead to criticism for several reasons. 1. Public misinterpretation. Incomplete or out-of-context information can cause public confusion or unnecessary worry. 2. Political polarization. Opponents may frame emergency strategies as evidence of poor leadership or hidden agendas, regardless of intent. 3. Media amplification. Social media and video platforms can spread snippets of planning discussions far beyond their context, shaping public opinion before officials can explain. In situations like storm preparedness and resource pre-deployment, Newsom's office typically emphasizes official channels for alerts and instructions. But when external content appears, especially on social platforms, it creates pressure to clarify what is official policy and what is not. This process of clarification often looks like damage control, even if the underlying emergency planning is sound and professional. The balance between transparency and preparedness? Emergency management requires a careful balance. Officials must plan thoroughly and anticipate worst-case scenarios. At the same time, they must communicate clearly with the public without causing panic or misinformation. California has invested heavily in systems designed to support coordination, early warning, and response. Pre-deployment of emergency resources such as fire engines, helicopters, rescue crews, and search teams minimizes the effects of sudden events when they materialize. At the state level, governors often work in partnership with local authorities, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, and specialized agencies to ensure resources are in place, communications are coordinated, and official messaging is clear and accurate. Real-world emergency events and official actions. To appreciate why emergency plan communications matter, consider recent real situations. In late December 2025, Gov. Newsom issued a state of emergency in multiple counties ahead of forecasted atmospheric river storms, a declaration that enables quicker response and resource mobilization. Similar declarations have been used historically to manage flooding, wildfires, and earthquake risks, illustrating how executive authority is used in urgent situations. These emergency proclamations are not made lightly. They unlock legal authority, funding mechanisms, and interagency cooperation necessary to protect lives and property. Communication is critical. One of the main lessons from emergency planning and response, both in California and elsewhere, is that effective communication matters as much as the operational strategy itself. When elements of a plan are discussed or shared before officials provide full context, it can undermine trust and spark unnecessary concern. Governors and emergency officials, therefore, often emphasize adherence to official channels, state press releases, government websites, and accredited media briefings to ensure the public gets accurate, complete information. For Californians, staying informed through verified sources and following state emergency alerts is an essential part of preparedness and resilience. What this means for Californians. California's emergency planning infrastructure is extensive, continuously updated, and designed to protect residents from a wide array of threats. But public perception is shaped not only by what is planned, but how and when information is communicated. When discussions around emergency strategies appear prematurely or without full explanation, officials like Gavin Newsom are often thrust into damage control, simply to clarify context and maintain public confidence,